Hello and welcome this lovely Thursday morning to Markets Insight. I am Lavina Emma. Now, during the week, the Central Bank of Nigeria issued a circular to bureau de change operators that they sold $10,000 to each BDC at the rate of 1,251 naira per dollar. So this means that each BDC should not sell above 1,269 naira per dollar. And right now, most of the bureau de change operators are trying to actually adjust to this new directive. So on today's show, we will discuss how feasible it will be in the long term. But before we get into this issue, the capital market organized a pull-out ceremony for Mr. SOUQ Oyinmiebi, the outgoing Group CEO of Nigerian Exchange Group. So SOUQ Oyinmiebi became the CEO of Nigerian Stock Exchange from 2011 to 2021, and he became Group CEO from 2021 to 2024. So he spent over, I would say, 13 years in the stock exchange. I'm in the studio with Mr. Charles, our in-house consultant for Nigerian stock exchange issues, and he also has 20 years experience in the financial services industry. So let me ask you, Mr. Charles, now how has the market fared this week? I know Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we just have 4 days of trading because tomorrow is Good Friday.
Yes, let's see. What we have said even from last week, it's going to be a mixed market. And we saw on Monday, the market closed on the negative territory. That is, we saw the all-share index losing 0.49% during the total volume of over 270 million units that exchange are valued at over 7.3 billion naira. That's as on Monday. Now moving to Tuesday, we also saw the market on a downward trend again, losing 0.18%. But the volume increased over 374 million unit exchanges, and of course the value also increased to about 11.3 billion naira. Now yesterday, as at yesterday, the market now turned. That's why we said it was going to be a mixed market. So we saw the market closing in the positive territory, doing about 0.32% up. That is the all-share index. Of course, with a volume of close to 500 million units exchanging hands yesterday, of course, with a value of about 12.4 billion naira. So that's what plays out yesterday in the market. Some of the gainers there, we saw CWG, that's Computer Warehouse Group. We also saw Julie Pharmacy, FTN Cocoa, Livestock, and of course, Consolidated Oil Market Insurance. Those were the gainers. But for the losers, we have Northern Nigeria Flour Mills, Prestige, Omatech, Veritas Cap, and of course, May and Baker. But you see, that is for yesterday. But the market has commenced today. We are already in the continuous trading. So before I left my trading machine,
Yes.
as at about, let's say about 10:45, before coming to the studio and getting set for this show, the market has already is looking positive. 0.01% is up. Of course, we have done over 2,000 deals, so you can see we still have enough time. Yeah. Then, as for volume, we've done over 61 million units. And of course, the value is still about 1.63 billion. And some of the gainers there, of course, we see Nigerian Breweries is up, ICO is up, CWG is also up, Fidelity, Access, of course, GT Bank. Of course, you see that it is the banking sector, or let's say the financial sector, that is going to drive the market today, because we are seeing their numbers coming to the market. So, yes, we're in continuous trading. Traders are now putting in their orders. Investors are giving them the orders what to do. So a lot of trading is going on right now. So I assure you, as at the end of the market, about 2:30, when the closing gun will be sounded, the market, most likely, all things being equal, will close in the positive territory.
Okay, that's wonderful to note. So actually looking at, today, Thursday, being the last day of the week, we're looking at the market ending this week on a very positive note.
All things being equal.
All things being equal, yes, on a positive note. Yeah. Okay, so what are your speculations? Like, yes, we know we have 2 public holidays, Friday and Monday. Do you think this trend will continue in the new week, next week?
Yes, like what I said last week, it's going to be a mixed market. This trend will also continue after the Easter break. We'll see a lot of repositioning, where investors and of course traders who want to reposition their portfolio. And at the same time, we are with some of the numbers that are coming to the market. That is, the companies are sending their results and all that. That is usually going to drive the performance of the market for next week.
Okay, thank you for that, Mr. Charles. Yes, we always appreciate your insights into the Nigerian capital markets and everything that you have also been telling us about the markets in recent times. So, okay, yes, during the week we had the outgoing ceremony for the outgoing group CEO of the Nigerian Exchange Group, Mr. Oscar Onyeibie. So after spending 13 years in the Nigerian capital market, he was given a very colorful outgoing ceremony. And as yours truly, I was right there at the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, and it was a wonderful ceremony to witness. We had his colleagues and also his senior colleagues too giving out a lot of good reviews about him, a lot of good things he had contributed during his tenure as Group CEO of the Nigerian Exchange Group. So, Mr. Charles, yes, we also saw you at that event. But how was the experience like for you all through?
Well, first of all, I must say kudos to the Nigerian Exchange Group, PLC. Kudos to the Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers, and of course, our trade group, Association of Securities Dealers, Houses Association, and of course, our regulator, that is SEC, and the investing public, and of course, the quoted companies. In fact, all the stakeholders in the Nigerian capital market ecosystem. Yeah, it's a very colorful ceremony, and I have coined Oscar as the capital market general, because he only pull out generals after a successful sojourn in the military and maybe in other services. So you can see how colorful that ceremony that was displayed, and you could see his ambience, you could see his humility, despite all his achievement. And it is not just only the capital market that appreciated him. You could see even the Nigerian government by giving him a national award, OON. Yes. So you can see that this man did not only contribute to the development of the capital market, he did a lot in terms of the Nigerian economy as a whole, the financial service industry and the Nigerian economy. I hope we have enough time, because I will tell you 2-3 hours will not be enough to talk about this icon of the Nigerian capital market.
I agree with you on that. Mr. Charles, what are your thoughts? I'm sure you saw your colleagues when they said a few good words about Mr. Onyeibie and also the farewell ceremony that was given to him. It was a very colorful event. I mean, I was there live at the exchange floor.
Yes, I must say the two persons we interviewed were being very, very brief with the contributions Oscar has made. It's far beyond what they have said, because I was practically involved. But just permit me to say that Oscar, the most important achievements he did while at the exchange was he made brokers realize who they were. The immense responsibility as a trader, as a broker, what you have. And in the past, we used to have this market infraction, all sorts of market unwholesome practices. But when Oscar came with the technology he put in place, I'm not saying others have not done what they were supposed to do, but when he came, for the first time, as at that time, the NSE signed an MOU with EFCC, where the operatives of EFCC were trained regarding market operation. So whether there are cases of capital market fraud, these operatives are able to understand it and tackle it thereout. So you can see that, and that brought a significant drop in the cases of market abuse and market infraction. Another important thing he did again was the demutualization process. People are forgetting.
Okay.
Demutualization process has been on, but when he came in fact, some persons thought it was not going to be possible. That is, you are converting the Nigerian Stock Exchange that has been operating as member-owned. And it was like a club owned by dealing members and of course ordinary members. But when he came in, because that was the trend worldwide, we've seen the Stockholm Stock Exchange has been demutualized, London Stock Exchange, so the Nigerian Exchange had no excuse. So Oscar spearheaded that process. It was a lot of work trying to convert from a mutual to a demutualized exchange. He was able to achieved that. And of course, the dealing members became trading license holders. So there was a change in their operation and everything. Another thing they did again, that people, in fact, brokers fought against it.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, they saw that it meant well, which is the minimum operating standard. We used to say it's MOS. That is, he kept talking about world-class exchange. And that extended to the trading license holders. That for you to be a part of this exchange, you must have world-class processes. And so they're making fun, world-class, everything world-class. But gradually we begin to see that, yes, it made us realize that you needed to have minimum operating standard for you to be in this market. There is a minimum standard you must meet. Okay. And at the end of the day, people now saw that those standards were even to protect the traders. Okay. And not only that, he also made sure that the trading machine that we're using from Horizon, we call it Horizon, that's the app, because the persons who are supporting it are no longer in business.
Okay.
So how will you now continue to use an update, obsolete trading engine? We had to move from Horizon to XGen Extreme. And brokers, traders saw a remarkable improvement in their trade. It created, of course, X-Boss, X-Academy, where brokers are also trained and all that. So there were a lot of things he did.
Yes, I can see that. You have so much to tell us about SOUQ Oyinmiebi.
Yes,
thank you for that,
but most
Mr. Charles.
importantly, you were there. You could see that. He said all this wouldn't have been possible without the teamwork.
Yes, that's
cooperation
very true.
of not only his colleague at the exchange, the regulators, and of course the operators and even investors. So for anything for you want to achieve anything meaningful and make impacts, like they said, teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes, that's so true. Thank you for that summary on the achievements of SOUQ Oyinmiebi, Mr. Charles. So, okay, so to today's issue, yes, I mentioned earlier on that Bureau de Change operators were given a directive by the Central Bank of Nigeria. They put a cap on how much is to sell foreign exchange to Nigerians. And they also specified something that has to be those who are eligible to buy foreign exchange, actually. So why did the Central Bank of Nigeria set this exchange rate? Please, your thoughts, Mr. Charles.
Yes, we have always said that your national currency is national security. And from time to time, you don't allow it to just free float like that. Even though we say it's a free economy, you know, and all that. Even in the US, they don't allow their currency to just float. Yeah. So, and when the Nigerian government said they want the Naira to free float, they are not saying it's going to be 100%. That CBN still has a role to play from time to time. And we've seen what has happened. CBN, for me now, is now acting and operating the way they are supposed to operate. Be a market maker to your currency. And that's what we have suggested from time immemorial. That it will get to a stage where there will be no enough currency in the market, no dollar in the market. Now, CBN will now have to play that market maker by supplying so that you stabilize the price. At the same time, a time will come where it will be so surplus in the market. CBN has to play that market maker by buying from those who are selling. So for me, kudos to Yemi Kaduso. It's like gradually we are beginning to understand the dynamics of this forex. That is on the monetary aspect. And you can see the directives, form of a circular is given to the BDC. We are giving you this amount of dollar, sell at this price. It should not go beyond this and this. For me, that is an excellent way to moderate the activities of the players in that forex market. However, somebody will ask, where is he getting all these dollars from?
That's a good question.
Yes,
because
it is.
I know he gave out, there was another circular last month that he mandated BDC operators to always declare where they get their foreign exchange from, whether it's from tourists coming into the country or they're buying from banks, or if they're getting directly from the CBN, also that they have to. There's no more secret regarding this issue. They have to also put it out there.
There has to be a lot of transparency.
Yes,
how the market operates, you know, the dynamics. So yes, monetary aspect of it, they will do their best, but again, can it be sustainable?
Yes.
it can be sustainable as long as there is also a cooperation from the fiscal aspect of the economy. What I mean the fiscal aspect, that is the government on its own trying to make the business environment friendly, trying to see that we fix power at least, and making businesses easy for people to do business in the country, and at the same time ensuring that we export so that we can earn this foreign exchange. So the combination of the monetary policy side and the fiscal policy side, we will see an improvement in the value and quality of our national currency.
Okay, so I also want to ask you now, going further, now what are the potential impacts of this policy on the official Central Bank of Nigeria rates and the black market exchange rates for the Naira?
Now, you can see that with what he has just done now,
yes,
you can see that the Naira is already appreciating against the green ball. Now, that means that the parallel market has no choice. They will have to bring down their own rates.
Yes.
And at a time, we're going to see a convergence of the two rates. The difference is not supposed to be so much, and then we'll have price stability. So for importers, you can now predict and say, okay, this is the amount I'm going to buy my hard currency. This is the amount, or if you export, you are expecting proceed. This is the Naira value I'm going to get. So it allows people to predict in terms of the businesses they are doing when you have that price stability. Not when today it is 1,500 Naira to a dollar. The next day is 1,900. So it makes things so difficult for the average business person and even the average Nigerian on the street, because our economy has become dollarized. And again, it's not just giving this BDC to sell to the public, let them also ensure, like you have mentioned, it is those persons who actually, there should be proper documentation.
Yes.
And I love what the CBN governor said. You know, they've paid some backlog of Forex, they were owing some airline.
Yes.
And they are saying the ones they did not pay, they could not verify it. These were not genuine, no proper documentation. So we'll encourage proper documentation so that this dollar will go to those people who actually need it, and we know that, yes, they are not going to run trip. You know, so there should be more focus and oversight function of CBN on the BDCs so that we can begin to have this stability in the value of our national
yeah,
currency.
and I also think that this is also affecting, like, I also heard that the Nigerian customs duties actually has also reduced. Before it used to be almost 1,600 naira.
Yes,
but
again.
with this new directive, the price has also come down to the dollar.
For me, at that point, I thought the CBN was a little bit confused, because you are trying to stabilize the FX market, and now you are giving different rates for those who are for import duties and all that.
Yes.
There were a lot of problems and all that. So yes, from time to time, you might want to encourage certain importation of critical inputs that we cannot get here.
What do you mean by critical inputs?
That is raw materials that we cannot source locally here, but you want them to come from abroad. So you want to encourage businessmen to bring it. So you are going to have some variable in terms of the rates they pay for the forex. From time to time, it's being done that way. And all this is to stimulate the economy. Because once the economy is stimulated, jobs will be created, and we'll see a lot of stability in the economy. So, like I said, there has to be monetary policy, fiscal policy, trade policy to ensure that we have an economy that is growing. With over 200 million population,
yes,
we must take care of this population. And I believe we have the potential, the resources to do that.
How might this policy affect access to foreign currency for Nigerians who rely most of the time on bureau de change operators, actually? Because we know most people prefer to, like, you know, the popular places at Lagos Island, at Apapa, to actually change or buy foreign exchange from these men. So how will this policy affect these Nigerians?
Let's look at it from this way. The bureau de change,
yes,
they are being regulated by CBN. And CBN has the right to give them circular from time to time how they are supposed to operate. That's what they have just done now. Now, the issue there is those dollars that were given to them should be given to persons who have appropriate documentation. Because if they come to the streets, for me, it's no longer bureau de change. It has become, I don't want to use certain words on air now.
okay,
Let's say parallel market. And you know, most Nigerians is out of attitude, our values. We believe that we can get a better bargain if we go to the street. But I'm saying, for everything we do, safety should be our watchword. I'm not saying those bureau de change, you might not have one or two sharp practices, but it is always good to go to a recognized bureau de change when you want to do some of these forex transactions. Don't say, I know one Abdullah somewhere in which in AP in Festac, or there is one popular hotel in Apapa, or somewhere in Ikeja and all that. Yes, they are playing their own role. But again, some of them will also tell you they are attached to one BDC, or they're just taking the business to the street. Again, what would not be too comfortable when you trade the national currency in the streets of Lagos. So I said, I'm being too idealistic. Yes, there are some of these men, after discussing, you still go to an office.
Yes.
To an office, you know, and finalize all the documentation, and of course, you are sure that at that point, you will not be swindled, you know. So, yes, CBN has done their own part. They've made this forex available to these BDC operators. And again, they even have what they call these returns that they do. So they will give account as to how, who documentations that gets these dollars. So we will see now what CBN needs to do is just that oversight to ensure that they work according to the guidelines that have been provided for them. And we will see an improvement as to how our forex is being managed, how it's being traded, so that, yes, there will be room for persons to do one or two things on the street. You cannot rule that out. But not where the street becomes where the national currency is being determined, the value. That is where there is an issue. Kudos to CBN, and of course, I want to employ all the BDC operators now. I see them come to line up at the CBN in Lagos Marina, at Tinubu there. I want to employ them that the managers of this BDC should do what I call ethics, compliance, and good corporate governance in terms of how they utilize this forex that has been given to them. Because they also make their own margin, and they will continue to be in business.
Yes, they do. Okay, thank you for that, Mr. Charles. Okay, so now going still on a broader and a wider perspective now. So now what do you think the broader economic goals of the Central Bank of Nigeria is in setting these exchange rates and the supplying of foreign exchange to BDC operators actually? What do you think the broader economic goals would be?
Yes, they are trying to meet one of their responsibilities, price stability.
Yes, that's true. Price
stability, and at the same time have a fair value for our national currency. Yes, people will say they are supporting. It's even that they did it in the past, they borrow money to support the currency and all that. Yes. In economics, you do so many things. And it's when you see the result. It's not that trial and error. When you see the result, you now begin to say, okay, this is where I need to intensify my effort. So CBN has looked at everything and are saying, no, we have a responsibility. No matter what is going to happen, let us ensure and see that in the marketplace, there is fairness, there is transparency, there is efficiency. There is no way you have 100% efficiency, but let there be some form of efficiency so that those who are playing in that market, you will know that, yes, I mean, I just saw somebody yesterday who needed to import something for a business, an SME, and she went to a BDC and she was surprised at the rate at which she was able to get that dollar. And of course, she went and paid it into her DOM account and she has done the transaction. So you can see that if CBN has not done this, there will be an issue. And of course, she has about 10 people she has employed. So if she's not able to do a transaction, then it will affect those other 10 persons. So you can see now a broader picture. CBN is now reviving some of the SMEs or business generally that are making use of this forex. And we are seeing improvement in their transaction. And of course, once that is being done, employment too is also reduced. Unemployment is also reduced. Yes, so on a global picture, CBN is doing what their act enables them to do. Price stability. in the economy.
Okay, that's very true. Okay, yes, so people are actually, yes, I know sometimes we hear that stockbrokers can look at the data and also predict or speculate, if I'm allowed to say that, yes. So people are actually guessing, or people are trying to predict that with this Forex selling at 1,261 or 1,300 in some cases, that there might be a case, there might be a situation whereby Forex would go for 1,000 naira per dollar. But recently there was a rumor that it was online that yes, that some BDC operators were selling as 1,000 naira, but the most BDC operators completely refuted that claim that they are not going to be selling as 1,000 naira for now. But we're looking at, yes, with this policy that has been introduced by CBN, that it might. Or what do you think about this, Mr. Charles?
Okay, I think your question is talking about sustainability of what is going on here now. Yes. For every policy, it has a time frame, and CBN is not just sitting down. They are watching it. They are seeing it, and they believe that, yes, it is working now, but they are not just going to sit down there. They will continue to monitor, and if there is any need to tweak it somewhere, they will do it. But again, like I've always said, monetary policy alone will not solve our problem. We have to look at a combination of fiscal policy. So they are doing their own part. Then the fiscal authority will also now have to do their own part. Then this combination, we will see a sustainable economic growth. Yes, for me, looking at the data, you know, they talk of big data, analytics, you know, predictive data. Looking at all this, yes, if it continues this way, our revenue increase in terms of what we get, in terms of the sale of our crude, which is our major source of revenue, we get enough of that. And of course, we increase exports.
Yes.
Then we reduce our dependence on dollar. You know, you don't need to pay school fees. You are in Nigeria, pay naira. We do all this. I see, yes, we can actually get the dollar for less than 1,000 naira moving forward.
Hopefully we can. Yes, we can. Okay, so looking at everything that from when the Central Bank of Nigeria gave this directive till today, I mean, yes, like you said, if it's feasible, yes, we're going to, in the long term, we'll actually know the results of this. Okay, so now let's just round up now. So finally, just before we round up, actually, we know that the CBN has given this directive to BDC operators, but we know in the markets, there's always the issue of hoarding. We know that there are some people, because I saw some reports online and some people said, oh, I bought it at the higher rates in the past, that's for over 1,800. So what's going to happen to me now? So do you think Nigerians are going to rush excitedly and start buying dollars at this new price of 1,300 just in case maybe something happens and then and the price goes up again and they say, oh, thank goodness we're able to purchase as much dollars as possible? So do you actually see that in
yes.
looking at it in terms of hoarding, actually? Looking at it like
yes, for every market you have arbitrage. Persons buy at this price and they want to sell at that price, for which is okay. We also have edgers. People want to edge. If you want to edge, you are doing business, there's nothing wrong, okay? You could go into an agreement with the BDC and say, I'm going to get dollar. I'm going to buy dollar from you at this price in 3 months, and we sign that agreement. It's forward.
Okay. So
whatever the price goes up or comes down is the price we've agreed. It's forward transaction. You can do that. Then we also have the speculators. And when you speculate, for me, speculation is a zero-sum game. The day you make it, you speculate and it benefits you, fine. And the day the market goes against you, you take it. That is why you are a speculator. You are willing to take the risk, because they say, I risk, I gain. So they should not be complaining. Those who have bought the dollar at 1.8 and saying, since the price is coming down, and this, that, it's all about speculation. And I'm assuring you, there are some persons too who bought at maybe 1,000 and they even sold at that 1,800. So it's all about speculation. So it cannot favor you 100% all the time. So the time you just cut short your loss and you move on if you want to be a real speculator. But for the actual users of the dollar, I will encourage them to do a forward transaction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like you said, edging. Okay, thank you so much for joining us on Market Insights, Mr. Charles. We really do appreciate your insight into these issues, especially regarding whenever the Central Bank of Nigeria gives directives to BDC operators regarding our foreign exchange. So thank you for joining me this morning to discuss all these issues and so much more, actually. So we look forward to your next time on Market Insights.
Thank you very much, and use this medium to appreciate Nigerians. They say tomorrow is Good Friday, and let them, as they go out and celebrate, they should remember the essence of the Good Friday, and of course Easter.
Yes, but just before we round up, let's look at the parallel market rates for this morning, for Thursday, so we can actually see the figures this morning. Yes, this new directive has actually impacted on the current parallel market rates this morning. So we have that selling, that's for the dollar specifically. So the selling rates for the dollar at the parallel market is 1,330 naira, and the CBN rate is 1,200 naira. And for the other currencies, we have 1,480 naira for the pound. Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon, for the euro. And the Central Bank of Nigeria rate is 1,539 naira, and the euro is selling for 1,500 naira, and that's for the parallel market rate, and the CBN rate is 1,321 naira. So those are our parallel market figures for this morning. As you can see, Mr. Charles, I think this new directive is actually having some impact. So what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, like I said, kudos to CBN. They are now playing the role. For me, I call them market makers. You know, they are trying to make market where there is no market. So I think they should continue with this, and I believe with the fiscal discipline on the part of our fiscal authority, we get more of this revenue, dollars. I think that situation can be better than what we have now.
Okay, so that's our package this morning on Market Insights, as I discussed with my guest, Mr. Charles Fakrogha, a chartered stockbroker and investment banker with over 20 years experience in the financial services industry, as we discussed the stock market, how it's progressed from Monday till today. And also, we also talked about the outgoing CEO of Nigerian Exchange Group and his contribution to the exchange group. And we also discussed the directive given to the BDC operators from Central Bank of Nigeria. And we hope this new figures from CBN and also the parallel market rates will actually last long, because we've seen how people keep saying, oh, it's because of dollar increase, that's why the price of goods are going for this price and that price. But we hope this actually lasts very long. So thank you so much for joining me this morning on Market Insight, and I look forward to another episode where we can discuss more about our Nigerian economy and other issues affecting us on this program. I am your host, Lovina Emma. Stay tuned to the next program on SOUQ News Television.